everyone, welcome to my first YouTube video. So I did a poll on Instagram asking you guys what my first video should be about. The options were, I think, what's in my makeup bag, a makeup tutorial, which this clearly is because that's what won. The other two were daily vlog of being a cosmetology student and fall outfits. So a few things before you see my video. If you guys continue to see me either looking here, like behind the camera, it's because I have a mirror behind you guys where I'm like obviously looking at what I'm doing. If you also see me continue to look this way like I'm doing right now, it's because I can see myself in the screen, and so I'm gonna be constantly checking to see if I'm just in frame. All the products I'm gonna be using, I'll put them down in the description so you guys know exactly what I'm using. I'm just gonna do like my everyday makeup. I do wear a little bit more makeup than usual sometimes, but most days I'm pretty natural. I don't do anything crazy, but I do wear quite a bit of makeup. So let's get into the video. Okay guys, so the first thing I'm gonna do is my skincare, and my camera kind of doesn't focus too well. So what I'm gonna be doing is every product that I am gonna use, instead of showing it up and like trying to get the camera to focus on it, I'm just gonna put it on this top corner right here, and I'm gonna also put the pricing of the product. I feel like a lot of makeup tutorials don't do that, and then you're like, well, what if this thing is super expensive and like I can't afford it? Obviously that's understandable, but I want to make sure I'm clear about all the pricing of my products that I use on my face, because I use both high-end and drugstore. So don't think it's all high-end makeup. I don't use all high-end makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is my toner, which I use the Ultra Tonic Watermelon Extract Facial Toner. And all I do is I just kind of rub that into my face. I also dermaplane my face, not often, but at least once a month, because that makes it super duper smooth. Okay, I switched my hair because it's easier for me to do my makeup this way. I already used my eye serum. I use the Aloe Vera Superfood eye serum for dry skin. I don't have dry skin, but my skin around my eyes, like here and here, is really dry, so that works best for me. The next thing I'm just gonna use is the First Aid Beauty Oil Moisture, or like the Oil Control Moisturizer, and I have combo skin, so I'm oily in my T-zone, but like the rest of my face is normal. First off, don't judge my brushes because these are the brushes I've been using the longest, but I use this, I don't have pricing for brushes, so brushes, I'll just tell you what they are, but I just use this random spoolie brush, and then I use the Got To Be Glued, the gel. What I do is I'm gonna show you one eyebrow, and then I'm gonna do the other one off camera because it takes me a while. So first thing I'm gonna do is I take a little bit on my finger, and then I kind of run it through my eyebrow, pushing them like to the side. So now that it's sat for a couple seconds, all I do is I go in with my eyebrow brush and my spoolie, and I push the hairs up. Now, I need to get my lamination redone. They don't stay up super well as they used to, but regardless, it's still there, and look at that. So after you get the gel on, then I go in with my spoolie and I shape my brow, because I don't like my brow to be super stuck up, so I just kind of shape it on the ends mostly. I don't try to shape the front as much. Okay, I'm gonna leave it as it is. So there's the brow I did, and that's my regular brow. So I'm gonna go do my other brow now, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished both of my brows. Getting even brows is really hard for me, but that's how they look. After I do my brows, you guys are gonna think I'm probably crazy, but I am not a primer person for my skin type. I love using primer on anyone else. Primers are amazing, but for me personally, primers just don't work. When I did use a primer, I used the e.l.f. Putty Primer, which I really love. That one's really good. But now that was more when I wore foundation. Now that I don't wear foundation as much, I just stick with my moisturizer. So the first thing I actually do is my concealer. So for concealers, I like to use two shades of the same concealer, which I use the Fit Me Concealers, which I'll put in the corner, and I'll put both shades. I use the shade 22 and the shade 05. Big difference if you can see. So how I place my concealer, I don't place it all over my face, but I place it in certain areas where I need it. So first I'll go in with my darker color. I'm gonna put it on my nose, so something like that. I also put it under my eye. I put it on the inner parts of under my eye and the outer parts. Okay, I also use this around this area of my nose. I don't know if you guys can see it. You kind of can. It is pretty red, so I do use it there as well, just like that. And then last place that I use the darker concealer is my chin. So that's all the placement for the darker shade of concealer. Now moving on to the lighter shade of concealer, I placed this right in the center of like that nose. I also placed it under my eye in the middle of the two darker concealers. I also placed this just right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend this all out. Okay, this is what it looks like all blended out. Next thing I'm going to do, I do this right after concealer because I get super creasy. So I'm going to use a powder puff, which is just a random powder puff I got from Amazon. And I use the Wet n Wild Photofocus translucent powder. All I do is I take my powder puff, I get that kind of all full of powder, and we're going to put that right under my eyes. And then, because my nose also gets oily, I just put some on my nose. It doesn't have to be perfect. After that, while that's baking and doing its thing, I'm going to go in with my bronzers, if you would say. I use both liquid blush and bronzer and a powder blush and bronzer. For my bronzer, I use the e.l.f. Halo Glow. This is in the shade 7. So I use this, and then I put this on the edges of my forehead. I also put this on the side of my cheek, and then I like to put some right on the edge of my jaw. So that's the placement of my bronzer. Remember, bronzer placement is different for every face shape. So for me, this is what works best for my face shape. Doesn't necessarily mean I would do it on every face shape. So to blend that out, I use the same beauty sponge because this stuff is so pigmented for my skin. I like to blend it out with the beauty blender. That way it kind of diffuses it out a little bit better. Okay, once I'm done bronzing, I usually wipe off the baking powder because I personally don't like it to sit too long. And we're just gonna brush off all this powder. So this is what it's looking like with the powder all wiped off. After the powder, I usually go in with my liquid blush. So for liquid blush, I use the Sheglam blush, and this is in the shade Love Cake. I usually do about 1 dot because 1 dot is a lot of pigment. And then I use the Shani M33 Mineral Powder Brush because it's super thick and it distributes that blush super nicely. Okay, that's all done. Look at how much light that brought into us. So much better. After that, I'm gonna go in with all my powders. For powder bronzer, I use the Charlotte Tilbury. It's like the bronzer and highlighter duo. I also use this for highlighter. I have the shade, I think it's light, yeah, light medium. And then I'm just gonna dip into this bronzer here, and I'm gonna sweep this very lightly, not like super hard. You want it to be just nice sweeping motion of bronzer all on top of the bronzer we did previously. Okay, powder bronzer is done. So before I put this bronzer away until my highlighter, I'm gonna take just this small eyeshadow buffer brush, and we're gonna use this for my nose contour. Make sure it's small. You don't want anything too big or else you're gonna get a big nose contour. Well, I take this and I load it up with the same powder bronzer, and I just follow down my nose, but a little bit slimmer. So for my nose, I already have like a little, little ball here in the front tip. So I like to just kind of make that accentuated. So I add like a little line right here and then right underneath. Okay, now that that's done, it's looking a little harsh. So what I go in with is I go in with my ring fingers and I just kind of blend that into like the sides of my nose. And then we're gonna go back in with our Wet n Wild powder and our powder puff, and I just like to carve out the sides of my nose. Okay, it's not the cleanest, but at least you get that shape. Okay, after we use the bronzer, we're not really gonna pick up that bronzer anymore, just for the highlight. But after that, I go in with my blush, and for blush I use the Half Cake Double Dipper blush, which is, it also comes with the highlighter, but I don't use the highlighter because it's a little too dark for me. I have the shade Girls Tour. So here it is. I go in with the same brush I used for my bronzer, and I'm just dipping into that blush, and we're gonna put it right on top of the previous liquid blush. Okay, blush done. I already did this side. Now what I'm gonna do is, you guys might think this is a little too early to do this step, but I do my highlighter next. Again, I'm gonna reach for that Charlotte Tilbury compact. I'm gonna take just this regular brush. I just like it because it gives me such a precise highlight. I'm going into the highlight section of the bronzer. So I'm gonna take this and we're just gonna put it right on the temples of my cheeks. And I like to bring it into the ends of my eyebrows as well. Okay, I finished the other side. Once we're done wiping off this powder, I'll put it on my nose as well. Next thing I'm gonna do is curl my eyelashes. This is like how you curl any other eyelash, so I'm just gonna curl them and I'll be right back. Okay, I just finished curling my eyelashes. That's how they look. They're covered in powder right now, so they're super light. For this part, I'm gonna just zoom in this section of the video so you guys can really see what I'm doing. For mascara, I use the Telescopic Lift, not the regular Telescopic, it's the Telescopic Lift mascara, and I use it in the waterproof / Hydrofudge because it's the only way my eyelashes really stay up. Again, I'll zoom you guys in the best I can so you guys can really see what I'm doing here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm look down into my mirror a little bit, but let me see if I can dig up. First, I start with just the tips of my lashes. I don't go into the root just yet. I like to really get that tip of the lash elongated. And yes, I always, it never fails, I always get it on my eyelid, always. Okay, so that's, look at the difference already. So I'm gonna do the other side again, just the tips. Okay, so I just finished coating the tips of my lashes. Since I did this one first and this one last, we're gonna work on this eye now. So I kind of switch between eyes so that they have time to dry in between. Now we're gonna do the tips for a second time. Okay, there's round 2 of doing the tips for my lashes. And let me tell you, a big tip of mine is don't be afraid to get it on your eyelids if you don't have eyeshadow, because that's the only way. I feel like my lashes are just so long that regardless, I have to touch my eyelids every time. For the second layer, now I'm gonna do the root. So now you're gonna do the same thing you've been doing, but include the root of your lash. This is what my lash looks like with the roots all black versus without. You can see the big difference. Okay, and then that's the second eye done. I did get some mascara here, but that'll just come off with the powder. Okay, now before I move on to my bottom lashes, we have to fix this mess on top of my eyelids. So what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing a random small tiny concealer brush and some makeup remover with a lid like this. I push down on my lid and I'm just gonna get this brush wet with makeup remover. After that, I use this brush and I just kind of wipe off all of that mascara on my eyelid. So there are both of my eyes cleaned off of mascara on my eyelid. This is kind of what my lashes look like. They really opened up my eyes, and I really feel like the lashes bring the makeup look together. Now I'm gonna do my bottom lashes. Do your bottom lashes like normal. I'm sure everyone knows how to do their bottom lashes. You just coat them with mascara. For the bottom, I don't do anything special like roots and then or like tips and then the root. So just go ahead and do your bottom lashes. Okay, so for right now, this is how I'm gonna do my bottom lashes. That's kind of how my lashes look once I'm all done. So now that I brushed off that nose powder, I'm gonna go in with the same brush. I don't really care for like the super small highlighter, so I just go in with this brush and I go in with like the little tip of it, and I just brush that down the center of my nose and then right on the tip of my nose. After that, I go in, don't laugh at me. I go in with some Vaseline because my lips are super chapped. I just use my finger to put this on. So today I'm not doing lip liner, so I'm just gonna go straight into my lip gloss. So for lip gloss, I use the KAB, the Lemon Lip Oil. It's a lip oil, not a lip gloss. Sorry, guys. I just put that all over my lips. Okay. Last product. The last product I use is my setting spray. This is crucial. I could not say it any other way. You need a setting spray, and it needs to be this one because this one is amazing. I use the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Go run and buy this right now. Like, it is worth the pretty penny. Oh, it's a little bit expensive, but trust me, you guys, I will be rebuying this time and time again because it is amazing. It'll leave your makeup on all day. This is coming from a person who gets oily in her T-zone, and my makeup still looks good at the end of the day. Like, it really, really does. So I'm just gonna spray it all over my face. And I kind of do it from far away because I like the mist. Don't do it super close, that's just not gonna work. Okay, I like to drench my face, but then I just use a regular paper to just fan it. Like, you will literally feel this working as it's drying. Okay, clips are off, and this is the final makeup. So this is my back camera. I don't know if that helps any bit. So this makeup for me is what I call like my everyday school makeup, my work makeup. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little not as good as I do this morning, I don't do everything that I do. Sometimes I literally just do mascara, blush, and concealer, and that's about it. But yeah, this is the final makeup look. Be sure to like the video, follow my account to see more content. I'm not only gonna post makeup videos, you guys. I have so many other video plans. Comment down below some ideas of other videos you want me to post, maybe products you want me to try. Again, not only did I put pictures of the products I use in this video, but I'm also going to put just the products I use down in the description below as well. I'll also link my Instagram down there if you guys want to follow that. Also, I'll link my cosmetology school Instagram to follow that and see my progress in school with all that, as well as my regular Instagram. Yes, a lot of Instagrams I have, you guys. I also link my TikTok because I also post little makeup tutorial quick videos down there. So I'll link my TikTok as well. So yeah, bye everyone.